I wanna say thank you.
Hello, humans. What's up, guys? It's Jess Brand. I'm here with the third video of the 10-part series on real estate that I'm doing. So I hope you guys can see value in these videos and learn a lot. Now, this video is revolved around the financing aspect of real estate and just the different ways and the different methods regarding the financing side. But first, I just want to say, please guys, if you like these videos and this channel, subscribe to the channel and like the videos just so people can find these a lot more easily. If you also don't really care about hearing me talk about, financial stuff, please go look at the other stuff on my channel. I post other things, just videos and music and just stuff on life. By the way, I'm not the guy that's always trying to, be a billionaire or nothing like that. I'm just trying to, provide information and teach on YouTube University. So if you guys like this stuff,
subscribe.
And another thing, if you guys ever want to communicate with me, email me, message me, talk to me in the comments. I always, reply to comments. And if you have any questions, just want to talk to me about the day, let me know what's going on in your life. It's not all about money. But hold on, let me just take one little sip of water real quick. Okay, let's get into it, guys. Financing. The first thing I want to discuss is how lucky we are to get these interest rates that we get now on these loans. And I'm talking in 2019, 2020, this time period for whenever you're watching this video in the future. But I can't stress it enough. Like, we can borrow thousands of dollars for as little as 3 to 5% on conventional loans. For 30 years at a fixed rate, And that's another thing. I mean, there's so many different types of loans. That's a long-term type of finance loan. There's a lot of different ways you can finance. There's conventional, there's jumbo loans, there's FHA loans, hard money, private money. Some are for more short-term while some are more long-term. Like, you can get 30-year fixed-rate mortgages where the person who's giving, or the people who are giving you the mortgages, can adjust the rates over the 30 years because it's a fixed rate. And that's usually the ones you want to get into if you're looking for more long-term financing for like a buy and hold rental property. But say you want to do a flip, you might want to just a really short-term loan just to get in and out of the property. Like, you just need some real quick financing for a real short term. You'll pay the loan back once you make your profits. And then, maybe do it again. The only thing about these short-term loans is, which is normally hard money and private money, is they have a lot higher interest rates. Now, your long-term loans, like your conventional loans, FHA, stuff like that, where it's got a fixed rate and a 30-year mortgage, those are typically a lot lower when it comes to the interest rates. But like I said, hard money and short-term loans, they're going to be a lot more, higher rates because those investors there's a lot more risk involved with a flip. Rental property is a little bit more stable. There's passive income coming in every month. So it gives the person or the company lending you the money a lot more, stability, and just convinces them that it's a lot more safe investment. So they're not going to charge you as much to borrow the money like a hard money or a private money lender would for a short-term loan. And plus, with the long-term loans, let's get on that topic with rental property. So if you have a rental property and you're looking for cash flow, you would want to have a 30-year fixed rate, right? Because your loan is spread out a lot longer than any other loans rather than a 15-year. But if you want to pay your property off quicker to build more wealth a lot quicker, just by doing the 15-year, you're not going to have as much cash flow, but you will be able to pay down your principal and your interest a lot quicker in the 15 years and then be able to, accumulate that wealth a lot quicker. But if you're just looking for the cash flow and you need the cash flow, go ahead and do the 30-year fixed rate, because then your payments every month on the mortgage will be a lot smaller. It's the same concept as putting more or less money into a deal. So if you just put the bare minimum into a deal, say you got a property for $100,000, if you just put down that 20 to 30% for an investment property, then your loan's obviously going to be bigger. But if you put more money into it, say you put $75,000 into it and you only got a $25K loan that stretches out for 30 years, that's a lot less money that you're borrowing, meaning your payment every month is going to be super small because you had to fork up more money. You have more money into the deal. Now that's a personal preference. You might want to do that just so you have a lot more cash flow, but you might not want to do that because you might have more money into the deal and you're not going to have a big ROI. You might want your ROI to be a lot higher than worrying about your cash flow. But if you're just strictly worried about cash flow, you need to utilize the 30-year fixed rate mortgage with maybe putting in a little bit more money when you do go into the deal. I mean, there's just different ways and different strategies to go about long-term investing with rental property. So we're going to go into detail on the types of loans now. So we have conventional loans, we have FHA loans, we have VA loans, portfolio loans, jumbo loans, hard money, we have private money. And some people like to do owner financing, which is just a way to pretty much get financing from the owner themselves of a property, instead of going through a bank or something, and just make monthly payments to the owner, and they don't have to be in control of it. They just want to get out of it for some reason, and they just don't want to mess with any banks or something. And you just decide on a set price, and you guys work out payments every month to do, just like with a bank, You have, I already said, private financing, HELOCs, which is home equity lines of credit, along with home equity loans. It's kind of like the same thing. It's the concept of tapping into your home equity. So say you've already been paying a house off and you have a bunch of equity in it, but you don't have any upfront cash to go in on another property that you might want to put into a deal, just a 30% down payment. That's all you need for another property, but you have all this equity in your house. There's a way to access that and actually pretty much get it financed as using that equity as collateral to get financing to go into another deal on real estate, because real estate it's pretty, it's a good investment, and lenders are more open to doing it, when there's equity involved, if you don't have anything else to put up for collateral. So home equity lines of credit, that's a great way to do it. But let's go over a conventional loan first. Okay, so usually investors will start off with using a conventional loan. There's usually pretty small interest rates involved. And, it's the first ones that you kind of get qualified first. But when you max out, like I was talking about earlier, sometimes you have a limit on certain loans. Some banks will only let you borrow up to 10 loans, some only 4 or 5. You just got to check with your lender when you first start having the conversation about it. So conventional loans are like the generic home loans. They're secured, they're insured by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, meaning the government is insuring part of the loan, so lenders are more willing to give them. And there's 3 classifications of loans that these conventional loans are qualified as: primary residence, vacation second home, and investment property. And you usually need 25% down for investment properties, while the other, vacation or primary residence, those can be as little as 3 to 5 to maybe 10% down, depending on, the property or whatever the circumstances are. So that's pretty much the gist on a conventional loan. Remember, guys, I'm not a professional. Okay, I'm not a financial advisor, so consult a real professional with this stuff. This is my disclaimer. Okay, I'm just a guy on YouTube who relays the messages of what I've learned, in my own way, and I just teach the practices. So, make sure with your financial statement and your situation that, all these things can apply to you, because sometimes they may not, but it doesn't hurt to ask. Next is FHA, and this is through the Federal Housing Administration. And these are only for primary residence homeowners, meaning the only way you can really get into investment properties with this is, like I said in the previous video, with the idea of house hacking. So if, work it out with your finance or your lender, and just make sure that, I've heard of people getting into a house with an FHA loan and just staying there for about a year to a year and a half and being able to rent it out after they've already, had it for a year or whatever. But, you just got to get into the details with, your mortgage professional. The next loan type is a VA loan. And a lot of people aren't qualified for these. These are for military related. These are it means veterans. It's like a loan for a veteran, and they're offered to service members of our nation's military. So maybe you're in the military, maybe you were in the military. Look into financing with a VA loan, and you could actually get 0% down. It's the only loan that you can really qualify for, literally getting into a property with no money down. So, veterans, definitely look into VA loans if you're interested in real estate. It could be your gateway in to get you started. But next would be a jumbo loan. So it's kind of like a high balance loan is what people refer to it as. Every housing market within the county has a limit placed on it. And a jumbo loan is when any borrower is looking to borrow more money than that limit. So when they borrow this money, it's at a higher risk. So there's probably going to be less favorable terms involved, meaning a more higher interest rate and just crappy terms involved. You probably don't want to use a jumbo loan in investing if you don't have to. Which brings me to my next point on a portfolio loan. Conventional loans, you're usually going to be maxed out on loans around 10 loans. So if you're looking to do more than 10, and you can't get any more conventional loans, your portfolio loan is probably going to be your next option if you can't get any hard money or private money, because private money and hard money are lending that isn't, it's not insured. Just like a portfolio loan, it's not insured by the government. It's not Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac related. It's more of an independent type of thing. But be prepared with portfolio loans. Is the one thing I don't like about them is you will more than likely get an adjusted rate on your mortgage. So whatever the interest rate is when you first get it, they're able to adjust it if the interest rates in the economy adjust up. Like say you start out with a 5% interest rate, and then in 5 years it goes up to 8-9%. They'll be able to adjust that interest rate up to where you're paying more money to borrow this money. But if it's your only option and the deal's worth it, why not? It's better to have a percentage of a deal than a bigger percentage of no deal. Like a lot of people say in investing and in the real estate world. So I mean, you just have to make sure the numbers work, and you got to make sure it's a deal. You can't get into something and then borrow all this, paying all this money to borrow, money that isn't creating you money. It just wouldn't make any sense. So my next topic is hard money and private money. So they're typically the same thing, and they're used for the same thing. Meaning, if you need a short-term loan and you've already maxed out, your 10 conventional loans that you was able to get with your conventional side of things, you would be able to get this on a lot higher interest rate. It's similar to a portfolio loan, but it's still not the same because it's not bank related. It's just more of private, it's more private lending involved, and they're letting you borrow their money at a very high rate just because it's almost your last resort. And as long as the deal works, you're good. You can use these and it still apply to your business. Hold on, guys. I gotta take a brief little water break. Okay, guys, stay hydrated. That's all I gotta say. Anyway, so that's the point of private and hard money. Like, it kind of speaks for itself. Hard money. You know, in private, that could be your cousin, man. Like, that could literally, or that could be your uncle who just has a little bit of extra money and they just want to get a good return, better than the stock market, which is typically 6 or 7%. And they just want a better return on their investment, so they help you out and, you know, give you some private financing. Now, you don't want to go playing around with grandma's money, because, you know, if you F up, then you're screwed, because you just lost all your grandma's money, her retirement account and stuff, you know. It's not a good idea. So be safe with your investments and know whose money you're using, and make sure it benefits both of you. You know, because someone's not going to lend you their money anyway unless they know it's a pretty secure investment. So the last thing, and mind you, we're only briefly going over these topics, so make sure you do some research, go read some books, you know, and really dig into these things. I'm just giving you guys the broad outlook on what's possible and what's out there. The next is owner financing. And this is really cool for people who can arrange a deal with a seller, someone who doesn't want to, you know, mess with an agent or whatever the case may be, and they just literally just want to take monthly payments for a property that they can finance to you. So it's called owner financing, because they're financing it themselves, you know, and you guys can work out the agreement to where, you know, you're cash flowing and they're still happy because they're getting their set payments every month. So you can arrange the deal to where you don't even have to put any money up, or you put a certain amount up and they're fine with it. Whatever works for the owner and the seller, you know. So that's what owner financing is. It's always an option, but you're not, I mean, you got to look for them though, you know. I mean, it's not like come around every day. But in the next video, we're going to be talking about the BRRRR strategy. So I'm really going to be able to get into the whole topic of loan to value and loan to cost, and how you would go about refinancing a property. Say if your flip didn't work out and you just needed another exit strategy, there's something called a cash out refinance. So that's what I'm going to go over in show 4. There's something called the BRRRR strategy, meaning you buy, you rehab, you rent it, you refinance, and then you repeat. So you can snowball your business in real estate if that's what you want to do. So I'll be going over that in show 4. So check that out after you watch this video, and hopefully you like it. So that wraps it up for this video, guys. Keep being positive, keep existing, keep being human, and that's it from my channel. Please subscribe if you like it. This is Just Brand, and I will see you next time. And this is when I dramatically fade in my music to end the show.
I'm hoping you can relate. Way back in the day, when it was so simple, nothing heavy on my mental.